Okay, let's just drop right into the scene. I want you to picture this with us. We're in Gerar. The air is thick, it's dusty. The light has this harsh, unfiltered quality. And the sages, they tell us this is a place fundamentally without faith. And into this landscape, Isaac walks, and you can just feel the caution in every step. With him is Rebecca, and her holiness is so powerful it's like a concealed light source. You feel it more than you see it. The tension is just immense.
And right there, in this spiritually hostile territory, we get this verse. Now, on the surface, it feels uncomfortable, right? It feels like a lie. It looks like he's just repeating the same questionable strategy his own father used. But the Zohar tells us, whoa, stop right there. This statement, she is my sister, it's not a deception. It's actually a code. It's a word of immense power that has a hidden meaning we're about to unpack.
Exactly. This isn't just about personal safety. We have to completely reframe this entire event. What we're watching is a high-stakes spiritual operation. You've got this vessel of immense holiness, Rebecca, who is literally the embodiment of the divine presence on earth, and she's entering a faithless zone. So the risk here isn't just physical, it's cosmic. And Isaac's response, that one little phrase, that is the entire security protocol.
So here's the journey we're going to take in this explainer. We're going to start with that surface problem, that echo in Gerar, and see how it connects to a pattern his father set. Then we'll unlock the secret itself, the sister soul protocol. From there, we'll dive into the cosmic engineering behind it all, and finally, we're going to bring it all home and ask, how can we use this ancient wisdom to guard our own light today?
Okay, so let's begin with the simple story, what we call the Pshat. Isaac and Rebecca show up in the territory of Abimelech. There's a famine, they need a place to stay, but Isaac is afraid. He's worried that Rebecca's beauty is going to put him in mortal danger, so he tells the locals, she's my sister. And it just looks like a direct, almost like a carbon copy of what his father Abraham did in a really similar situation.
And this is the central conflict that just forces us to dig deeper. See, Isaac isn't just any patriarch. He is the spiritual architect of Gevurah, that's strength, severity, judgment, boundaries. His whole essence is about holding a firm, unyielding line. So why would this pillar of strength immediately default to an action that, on the surface, looks like it's born from fear and requires deception? It feels like a total contradiction of his core spiritual identity. And that right there, that's our clue that something much, much bigger is happening here.
Right. So let's look at that pattern for a second. When Abraham first said Sarah was his sister, the Zohar tells us he did it with this constant, piercing awareness that the Shechinah, the divine presence, was with her. He wasn't just, lying to save his own skin. He was operating with an incredibly high level of spiritual consciousness. But when Isaac does it, it's different. He's not just copying a survival tactic. He is consciously enacting a known spiritual law.
This shows such a fascinating evolution. Abraham, he establishes the principle. He's operating at the level of remez, a hint of a deeper truth. He got it. He understood that in a hostile environment, you have to relate to holiness in a different way. But Isaac takes it to the next level. He isn't discovering the principle. He is deploying it. He's consciously enacting a spiritual protocol. And in doing so, he moves the whole concept from a hint to the level of sod, the secret.
And for anyone who might be new to this is the Pardes framework, these 4 levels of understanding Scripture. Peshat is just what happened. Remez is that hint of something deeper. Drosh is the interpretation. But Sod? Well, Sod is the secret. It's the mystical blueprint. It's the spiritual physics of reality itself. And that is exactly where the Zohar is taking us. We are about to descend into the deepest level.
So here's the crucial point. The Zohar reveals that Ahoti hi, she is my sister, is not a lie at all. It is the deepest possible truth you can imagine. It's a profound mystical declaration that totally redefines their relationship on a plane far beyond anything physical or social. And to get it, we have to look at another verse. This verse from Proverbs, this is the master key. It directly connects the term sister to chokmah, to divine wisdom. So what Isaac is doing is not making a claim about their family tree. He is making a statement about Rebecca's spiritual source. He's saying, the very essence of the woman you see before you, this vessel of holiness, she shares a single unified root with me in the highest echelons of divine wisdom.
Let's use a tech analogy because it works so well here. Think of wife as a public profile. It describes an external relationship, a bond that's formed in this world. And it's beautiful, it's holy, but in a hostile network, it's a known vulnerability. Sister, in this mystical context, is a statement about their shared source code.
It means they both originate from the same root process, from Chokhmah. So by declaring her his sister, Isaac is basically activating a spiritual firewall. He's changing her public-facing identity from connected to me to emanating from the same secure source as me, which makes her totally incomprehensible and inaccessible to the hostile network of Gerar.
Exactly. This is the core of the whole protocol. The Zohar is so explicit about this. He did this because faith was not found among them. In a place that cannot perceive holiness, you do not expose your holy connections. To do that is just to invite attack. Instead, you conceal the connection by declaring the source. You switch from describing the relationship, wife, to declaring the fundamental reality of their shared essence, sister soul. This whole act protects the Shechinah, that divine presence that dwelt with Rebekah, by wrapping it in a layer of mystical concealment that the men of the place just could not penetrate.
Okay, so we get the what and the why. Now it is time to look under the hood. Let's get into the spiritual physics, these sephirot, that actually make this whole protocol work. Because this isn't just poetry. This is a form of cosmic engineering.
Okay, let's map this out. Isaac, like we said, is the embodiment of Gevurah, the force of judgment, of setting boundaries, of severity. He is the ultimate guardian. Rebekah is the vessel for Malchut, the kingdom, which is the sephirah that manifests the divine presence, the Shechinah, right here in this world. So you've got the guardian, Isaac's Gevurah, and the presence, Rebekah's Malchut. The land of Gerar is the hostile network. And that declaration, my sister, is the protocol that bypasses all that hostility by connecting both of them directly back to their unified source in Chokhmah, or wisdom. It creates a perfect, sealed, and protected spiritual circuit.
And let's just talk about the sheer intensity of Isaac's power for a second. The mystics teach that he embodies 5 measures of Gevurot, of severities that are unsweetened. That means they haven't been mixed with mercy yet. This is an almost unimaginable concentration of pure, unadulterated strength. And this immense power was exactly what was needed to stand guard in Gerar, but it also created this incredible internal tension. It's a power so strong it could actually be dangerous if it wasn't properly contained. This is why the protocol was so necessary. It wasn't just to protect Rebekah from outsiders, but to create a stable container for his own immense judgmental energy, focusing it into a protective shield rather than letting it become a destructive force.
In mystical tradition, this energy of Gevurah and Din, or judgment, is associated with the color red. Red represents severity, conflict, the power to restrict. And this wasn't just Isaac's internal state. It was the spiritual atmosphere of Gerar itself. He was matching the environment's frequency, radiating this intense, protective red field of judgment as his outer layer. He had to present a hard, restrictive shell to the outside world, an energy they could understand and would frankly be repelled by. But inside that red shield was the real treasure, the pure, radiant holiness of Rebekah, the Shechinah. And this is associated with the color white, the color of Chesed, of pure, unbounded mercy and love. So by declaring Rebekah his sister, Isaac performed an act of ultimate protection. He was consciously wrapping his own red, judgmental energy around her pure, white light of Chesed. The protocol allowed him to conceal the white within the red, which rendered the holiness completely invisible to a world that could only perceive judgment and conflict.
This is all just incredible cosmic architecture. But you know, the Zohar is never just theoretical. This wisdom is a manual for living. So how do we take this sister soul protocol and actually apply it in our own lives? Let's look at this from a few different perspectives.
For a younger mindset, think of it just like a video game. You're the hero and you're escorting a powerful, radiant ally, which is the light of your own soul, through a dangerous level. This danger zone could be anything: a cynical workplace, a toxic social group, any environment that's hostile to your spirit. You can't just walk through with your power on full display. The enemies are going to target it immediately. So you activate a stealth protocol. You relate to your holiness differently, not by its outer expression, but by its hidden source. And this shields your connection to the sacred, letting you navigate the danger while keeping that connection to your source of power secure and totally unbroken.
Now, for a more mature audience, we can use the language of engineering and cybersecurity. This is advanced spiritual technology. It's about identity masking, strategically choosing not to broadcast the full nature of your most precious interconnections when you sense they might be attacked or misunderstood. It's about secure protocol layering, like adding a layer of encrypted communication. For instance, in a harsh business negotiation, instead of leading with your compassionate values, your wife, you might lead with your shared professional goals, your sister source, protecting that compassionate core. And most importantly, it's about core alignment maintenance.
making sure that no matter what external pressure you face, your internal connection to your ultimate spiritual source remains stable, secure, and unbroken.
So, let's bring this whole journey to its powerful conclusion. This ancient story, it isn't just about Isaac and Rebekah. It's about every single one of us who has to navigate a world that doesn't always understand or value our inner life, our sacred connections, our light.
And this is the ultimate purpose right here in the Zohar. Why did he do it? Why deploy this whole complex protocol? To attach himself to the Shechinah. It was an act of profound spiritual connection, not disconnection. In the most faithless place, he performed the most faithful act you could possibly imagine. He wasn't hiding from Rebekah. He was binding his soul to her essence, and through her to the divine presence itself, in the most secure way possible.
So this leaves us with a question to carry with us. We all enter faithless places, environments at work, in social settings, even online, where our deepest values and our connection to the sacred feel vulnerable or misunderstood. In those moments, what's our protocol? How do we, like Isaac, learn to wrap our strength around our light? How do we conceal and protect our connection to the sacred, not by lying or hiding, but by affirming its true, hidden source?
Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week.
If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.